Yeah, kiss it.
Yeah. Good guys whispering, we hear you loud. Move in the shadows, but you still stand proud. Ain't here for
Yeah, kiss it.
yeah.
Alright, let's get serious. Now, a lot of y'all have been asking me about parenting tips. And I've been telling y'all parents, in order to get parenting tips, you gotta understand about a lovely word that I like to say. Boundaries. The power of boundaries, backbone, and bold love. I like to call this little thing called backbone of parenting. Now, love with limits, discipline with dignity, raise them, don't reason with rebellion. I know we like to think that there's a thing called gentle parenting that is not no such thing, but we ain't gonna go there and listen. There are some people out here that believe that gentle parenting works. God speed with you. But I am not one of those people. I'm an old school person. And I believe that gentle parenting is reasoning with rebellion. Now, I'm going to tell you why. Boundaries are not abuse. They are their protection. Now, I'm going to teach you about boundaries. Listen here now. So, a boundary is a line that teaches children how to respect themselves and others. Children crave safety, not control. When parents set firm boundaries, they are saying, I love you enough to not let you self-destruct. Gentle parenting that avoids all conflicts out of fear and hurting feelings often end up creating insecurities, anxious children, because where there are no structure, there's no security. The truth about this all. If you don't teach your children consequences, the world will teach them cruelty. A no now is protection from lifetime of regret later. So some of y'all think that if you give your kids boundaries, that you're supposed to give them limits. And if you have boundaries for your kids, it's going to stifle them in a situation. What we don't understand is that teaching our kids structure and teaching our kids boundaries is helping them be able to understand limits that they can do in this real world. And this real world is very cruel. Now, a lot of us want our kids to grow up quick. So the boundaries that we're teaching them is they're skewering the boundaries between parent and child. A child cannot have a relationship with an adult without it being a connection and a bond. Now, y'all gonna be like, what you mean a child can have a relationship with an adult? It's unnatural for a child to have a friendship. When I'm talking about friendship, I mean like you call that child out, be like, girl or boy. That's not natural. Why is it not natural? First of all, they're not on your intellect. Well, some of y'all do act like kids, but that's not the point. Second of all, they're not in the mental capacity that you're supposed to be in. Third of all, most of them only want attention. So they're going to tell you everything you want to hear and nothing what you need to hear. I'm just going to pause for dramatic effect. All right. You're not their friend. Now, I have to talk about this slowly for some of y'all. Excuse me. So, you're not their friend. You're their foundation. Listen, I love my kids to death. I will go to war for my kids quick. But one thing you got to remember is you're not their friend. You're their foundation. Now, check this out. Parents who try to befriend their children often lose the authority and influence needed to guide them. Children don't need another buddy. They need bold leadership, presence, and a sense of safety that comes from knowing you got them. Gentle parenting collapses when kids face hard decisions and needs the steady hand and not a soft pat. Now, a lot of y'all gonna say the authoritarian parent is the reason why you don't want to be the authority. The authoritarian parent is using dictatorship to control. Parenting is a balance between both. You got a lot of hats. friend is not one. They got friends all over the place. Some of them ain't really friends. They don't need another friend. They need a mama and a daddy. Now, stop negotiating with your children like they pay bills. That's not parenting. That's passivity. Be steady voice in a shaky world. Now, a lot of y'all tell y'all kids something and y'all be like, all right, they gonna listen. Most of the time they listen because they just want you to shut up. They're not even listening. They're gonna pacify you enough to know if they start doing what you think they're supposed to be doing, then they're gonna stop. What I need all of y'all to understand is this: when your child knows that you are the last straw, you are the last voice. You are the one that is going to tell them when something's wrong and have their back. When they have those thoughts, when things happen that are heavy, they are going to tell you. And this is where a lot of kids run into when something happens to them, they don't want to disappoint their parents. You think being passivity to your kids are going to have them tell you everything, and that's not the case. Because in a world where we go through messy things all the time, predators understand the communication barriers. Most of y'all parents can't have a conversation with your kids. The reason why you can't is because you talk at your kids and not to your kids. Emotional guidance, not God status. Now, listen real closely. Just listen to this. Yes, feelings matter, but when parenting becomes emotional centered over character centered, children start to believe their feelings are facts. That's dangerous. Gentle parenting sometimes teaches children to over-identify with emotions and under-identify with accountability. Let them feel, but also teach them function. Some of y'all kids don't know how to process their feelings, which is why we get into these situations that we in right now. Feelings can lie. Teach them truth over tantrums. Just because you don't get your way don't mean you lost the situation. It means you have to rethink your strategy. A lot of y'all teaching y'all kids the same things, the same mistakes. The mistakes that we claim our parents taught us. Yes, I got my papers in my hand. But anyway, that's not the point. Yeah, we're teaching them exactly what we said our parents made a mistake of. Feelings matter. But if you can't process your feelings, they don't matter. They become tantrums. Now, your job is to raise emotionally intelligent, not emotionally dictatorships. Which is why we have a lot of kids running around here that are sociopaths. And we have a lot of kids running around here that are assertive. We have a lot of kids running around here that are narcissists. And you're like, a child can't be that. A child is a canvas. You are drawing a picture. The picture that you are drawing is going to tell you how your child is. If you decide to yourself that you want your child to be emotional, that's fine. But do they have emotional intelligence, or do they have stifling emotional? And they are now becoming emotional narcissists, which is why most young women think that money buys their time and their body. Whole different place. Let's go to the final point. Ready? Parent with the end in mind, not the moment. That's one thing I said, which was discipline. But we're going to go back in a minute. Hold on. So, every yes or no you give your child is building the adult they will become. Parenting isn't about peace in the moment. It's about purpose in the future. Parenting isn't about peace in the moment. It's about purpose in the future. Boundaries teach patience, grit, and respect. Gentle parenting without balance creates children who break under pressure because they have never been told no when it matters most. Raise them for the real world, not the fantasy one. The child in the front of you is the tomorrow's leader, lover, parent, or predator. Build wisely. Now, I'm not going to go into discipline because that's going to be a whole different side of the Whispering Her. I'm going to tell you why I said the child in front of you is tomorrow leader, lover, parent, or predator. There are some of us right now that are building a child that we believe is going to be so great in our vision. And your vision is a fantasy vision that is not what children go through right now. And then you're going to be thinking to yourself, well, I did the best I can. Did you really do the best you can, or were you selfishly raising your children? Because as soon as you thought that you were selflessly raising your children, you were selfishly putting yourself first. Now, I'm going to go into this because a lot of y'all want to talk about boundaries, and you talk about you need a break. I'm still trying to figure out what the hell this break is, because I got teenagers and young adults, and I don't know what a break is. In this day and age, a break does not come very easily. Now, when your kids get to a point where they have showed you their emotional intelligence, and they have showed you that the communication, they can communicate with you, when they showed you that they trust you, then having a break, going out with your girls once in a while is fine. But I have a question to all of you. How many times have you sat down and had a conversation with your children? And I don't mean a conversation as you ask them a question and you wait at least 15 minutes before you talk. Now, that's a long damn time. That's a long time to wait. But if you got each child, let's say you got 3 kids, 15 minutes, 5 minutes a child. Let them answer the question. Don't let them interrupt anything. When they start to interrupt, say, stop, so-and-so is talking. You are there as a sounding board. There are some of us that are emotionally stifling in ourselves, and we have no emotional intelligence, that we don't understand that the sounding board we are to our children is help to build another individual. Our children is not an extension of us. They came from us. So now you need to encourage this child. You need to cultivate this child. You need to grow this child. There are so many gardeners out there that don't have a green thumb. And I keep telling parents, parenting is like having a green thumb. Are you a gardener that can garden, or are you a person that kills everything? Because some of y'all shouldn't be parents. Let's just put it out there. The boundaries that you have for your children are very important to the future that you want your child to have. In this day and age where racism, where gender, where creed, and when I say creed I mean culture, means everything, you look at your child and tell them a fantasy, they're going to grow up with false identification. You see, boundaries help you show your child it's going to be rough, but you got the tools to get over it. So many people fall in depression because they have this fairy tale life that they're thinking of, because their parents have painted this picture for them without them telling them the truth. You're going to have to boldly tell your child using kid gloves. When I say kid gloves, don't tell them the greasy details. Tell them the outcome. You're going to have to start talking to your children. You're going to have to understand that you are not a dictator, nor are you a friend. You're in between. The most powerful thing of all is disciplining yourself. Some of us have children just so we can get over on our family members and everybody else so we can be important. But then you get mad when nobody wants to see you, but everybody wants to see that child. Your time is not now. They can't see you. Not at all. They see the parent that you need to be. They see you as either you are growing up or you are still stifling everything that is supposed to have your love and attention, and you're not going to get to where you need to be. See, I did real parenting for the reason of a lot of you have this question for me. Your baby whisperer, I need you to tell me, like, am I a good parent? If you got to ask that question, no. It's not about you. It's about the outcome of your child. What have you put in your child? What have you prepared your child with? What does your child understand about themselves? Are they emotionally intelligent? Do they get to where they need to go? How much time have you spent with your children? Because let me tell you something. The best parents of all are the ones that make time for their children. Physical contact time with their children. Sitting there bored as hell, looking at something that your kids want to watch while you're smiling, thinking, I could be doing a million other things in the house, but this. Playing on the ground with Lego with your kids. Creating time and memories with your kids. Boundaries mean everything, but are you disciplining yourself to understand that you are creating either a leader, a lover, a parent, a predator, or a soldier? It's the baby whisperer. You can't tell the difference between the whispering room and the savage room, but we in the whispering room. I want to tell you parents something. It is hard to be a parent. That's a choice that we make because we want to better the world and ourselves. Having children is not having companions. Having children is like being in the army and you got to protect everybody around you. But what you're going to realize is when your children get to a certain age, when you did it right, they're going to protect you too. It's the baby whisperer. In the whispering room, it's August. Y'all check out the Imaginators. Check out my No Stranger to Danger. And if you need a little help with your kids, the Imaginators got it. If you whisper, I'm going to hear you. Shh.
Yo, kissy.
Yeah. Good guys whispering, we hear you loud. Move in the shadows, but you still stand proud. Ain't here for clout, you ain't chasing no crowd. Truth in your step, that's how you wear the crown. Good guys whispering, we hear you loud. Whole room feel it when you don't make sound. They try to write you off, but we don't allow. Solid in the storm, still you hold your ground. They told you make noise, now that's all a disguise. Real ones move smart, don't get caught in the lies. You build when it's dark, keep the blueprint tight. Ain't chasing the fame, just protecting your life. No stunt for the gram, no cap for the net. The weight on your back ain't broke you yet. Stand firm in the rain, through the heat and the cold. The good guys whisper, but the truth gets told. They flex for the flash, you invest in a home. You guard every heart that's calling your phone. You pray for the lost, you fight for the weak. You work for the win, but you stay low key. They laugh at your peace, but they don't break through. Cause the good guys whisper, but heaven hears you. Good guys whisper and we hear you whisper.
And I storm in, but don't yell, I don't yell, I form and move like a wave when the winds start warning. Soft voice, hard shield, queen of the field. Don't mistake stillness, that's when I'm